You don't know anything about me. Are you gonna seriously give me your money, Gav? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this conversation that we're about to have is not fun. I don't like making this kind of video. I've always tried to make sure that I speak truth here on YouTube, on Instagram, anywhere where you follow me. I think if you go through all of my videos and you hear me speak, I've been consistent all the way through. My goal is to empower people and ultimately to keep people safe from investment scams. Now, this video is credit to one of my Discord group members who we had a conversation on Saturday, and he was telling me about a Ponzi scheme, which has just gone pop, literally just gone pop in the last week or so, that he almost invested in. Thankfully, he didn't. He got invited by a friend, but his friend is obviously still invested in this thing, and she's lost a load of money, as has a lot of other people as well. Now, I read somewhere in the subsequent research that the exit scam totaled 4 billion quid. Now, that's what I read, and I don't know if that is actually substantiated right now, but what we do know is they've run away with a lot of money. And they've taken money from people who are not necessarily the wealthiest. They are people, everyday people who just want to make their money work a little bit harder for them. They're just looking for that little bit extra. And it's so unfortunate that these kind of scams thrive the most in middle-class communities, lower-class communities, and that's where they really get their victims. Now, through the conversation with my Discord group member, I then did some research on YouTube, and yes, there's tons of videos about this Ponzi scam, Watermine. And interestingly, I found it fascinating watching the reactions and responses of people who have actively pushed this scheme, promoted it, asked people to use their referral link, their affiliate link, so that they could earn money on the introduction. It's been very, very interesting to see those people pivot in an attempt to perhaps save whatever they have left of a reputation here on YouTube. It's the only way for them to get validation. It's the only way for them to get the news out that this actually works. They have to be authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority here in the UK. So they're not here to regulate you. They are here to regulate the people that sell investment products to you. Now, where did we start with Watermine? Because Watermine was essentially an investment opportunity that allowed you to partake in Bitcoin mining, right? Sounds sexy, sounds complicated, sounds something new age, something in line with all of this crypto buzz that's going on right now. I mean, why wouldn't you want to be involved in Bitcoin? It is going to be the future nonetheless, right? So it's fed into this hype, this buzz. And essentially, their big selling point is that you will make money every single week and you'll be able to make withdrawals every single week. 2% daily is what they were promising on one of their packages, right up to 2.6% a day return. So when you start getting into the numbers of this, it's very, very attractive. I mean, their smallest package was £10, and this is saying that you will get 20p a day return, right? £1.40 a week. Over 3 months, your £10 turns into 18 quid. Doesn't sound great, doesn't sound much when you're looking at small amounts of money like £10, right? But when you start getting to 100, all of a sudden, that's £15.40 a week. That's £66 a month from 100 quid. That's 66% return. When you start upping the levels, start going to £1,000, well, actually, you'll start looking at £24 a day. You're looking at £168 a week. You're looking at £720 a month. Now, I don't know about you, but for many people, that is people's rents. Okay? Now, that is going to be attractive to certain segments of society, especially given where we've come from with lockdown and furlough. People are desperate for an additional means of income. So if you can invest £1,000 and get £720 back every single month, of course you're going to jump to this. And in addition to this, if you invited your friend over and you got your cousin, your auntie, your nephew, whoever it is, if you got them to also join the scheme, you actually earned some commission as well. Does this sound familiar, by the way? Because Cash FX, weekly returns, weekly payouts, they were offering 8%. If you introduce somebody, if someone you then introduced someone, you got 6%. If the person that your friend then introduced someone, you get 4%. If the person that your friend introduced that was introduced by your friend that you introduced and then introduced somebody else, you would also get 2%. So there was a scheme, a pyramid almost, of constant commissions coming through because you invited one person and they also did the same. And this is the kicker, guys. What all of these schemes have in common is they will make payments every single week. They will. It's the only way for them to get validation. It's the only way for them to get the news out that this actually works. It gets people fired up. Imagine investing £1,000, getting £720. Of course, you're going to share this with your mum, your dad, your aunt, your cousin, your uncles. Okay? Of course you will. But unfortunately, they went bust. And they started off with this rumor that they got hacked, even though they're supposed to be running a highly encrypted, highly secure system. They got hacked. Hackers stole money. Very, very questionable. But this is where we are right now. Watermine is no more. But they have started up again, though. They've started up again as King Finance. The website is identical to the Watermine website. Now, funny enough, you can do a little bit of digging and watch some old YouTube videos of people who actually covered this. Literally, the color scheme is exactly the same. The language is pretty much exactly the same. It's been tweaked a little bit, but the offering is identical to that of Watermine. Now, when you invest money or you think about putting your money into an investment, I always tell you that there are some very fundamental key things that you need to bear in mind. So with that background out of the way, let's get to the meat and bones of the things that you absolutely need to be aware of before you go and place any money with any person, any business of any kind. And the first one I keep screaming from the top of my lungs is they have to be authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority here in the UK. If you are in the United States, then it's the SEC. If you're in other parts of the world, go and Google your regulator. They should be registered with an authority who monitors what they do, how they do it, and why they are doing what they do. I said this on my podcast this week. The FCA here in the UK is the regulator. They're not here to regulate you. They are here to regulate the people that sell investment products to you so that this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Now, with Watermine, what's essentially happened is the company was never a registered company. There was never anybody who was behind the business that you could identify. And therefore, you have no means for recourse, restitution, or anything because there isn't a human, a person that was legitimately, legally registered as the business owner. So regulation is really, really important. People think that I'm boring when I say this. People feel as though the regulators are here to prevent you from creating wealth. That is not the case. They are here to regulate the people who are selling investment propositions to you to ensure that they don't do anything untoward, they don't disappear and run away with your money. The second thing is this, and this amazes me in this new reincarnation that Watermine are supposedly taking on in King Finance. There is no company, there is no legal entity that basically controls what they're doing or behind what they basically do. There is no company, there's no limited company, there's no entity, there's no business entity. So again, you have no idea who is behind the business. It could be a 12-year-old boy for all you know. It could be a 60-year-old grandma for all you know. You have no idea who is actually behind the business. And again, like I've said, people are going to fall for this and they will do this again because at the end of the day, what they're trying to sell sells. Hope of a passive income, an easy life, your money going a little bit further. And unfortunately, when we come around to making these kind of decisions, they are not rational decisions. They are, in most cases, irrational, illogical decisions that we're making because we're thinking about the money first, not the downside risk. The downside risk is I could have told you these guys were a Ponzi scheme right from the beginning. Would people have believed me? Maybe, maybe not. But people who have invested have lost money. Now, this is the bit that I think is very important to understand in terms of the psychology around this, okay? If you've not watched my crypto scam video, go check it out right there. That's the kind of narrative that they lead with. But this is one thing that is very important for you to acknowledge. These guys have a starting package of £10. It's never just £10 though. You put in your £10, you see results. You put in more money, you see results. You put in more money, you see results. And because it is a pyramid scheme, a Ponzi scheme, they are reliant on more money coming in to make the pyramid bigger, because the guys at the top are the ones that essentially benefit from this. And when you invite your friends, your cousin, your aunts, your friends, your family, they're also adding to this scheme as well. So this is social engineering at its finest. And I think we need to be very, very careful of this. Now, look, you need to make sure the company is registered. Company's House, that would be the first port of call. I don't care if it's Joe Blogs Kicking Rocks Limited. You have to go and check it out on Company's House. If they're not registered on Company's House and they're not authorized by the Financial Conduct Authority, then you really need to run a mile. I mean, you're giving money to a stranger down on the street. I mean, look, if you didn't know me from YouTube and you saw me down the street and I said, listen, Gav, give me $1,000. I'll give it back to you in maybe 3 months, and I'll give you about 2,000 back. You don't know anything about me. Are you gonna seriously give me your money, Gav? Like, seriously. We have to think about this logically. So they're not authorized, regulated by the authority here in the UK, the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. Run. If you don't have a registered, legitimate business, a limited company, run, because you can't trace them. And if everything I've said doesn't make any sense, just ask yourself, does this sound too good to be true? Because if it does, run. It's really that simple. I'm going to finish this off by just saying and reiterating that we need to be careful. Stop listening to people on YouTube about passive income opportunities and investments. And I don't like doing this, but I'm going to call maybe 2 or 3 of these people out. Here they are, right here. One of them is actually launching his own project to help people that will be similar to this one right here. And he's been an advocate of Watermine, made videos about positive reviews. And this is another thing that's worthwhile bearing in mind. All of these companies will have positive reviews on Trustpilot. Of course they have. They have their legions of people, teams, who put on positive results and they drown out all the negative ones. Because they have a positive customer feedback on Trustpilot does not mean that it is legitimate. Guys, use your common sense. Please. So this guy's going to start up his own thing that is similar to Watermine. He has no financial services experience. He's a car salesman, literally a car salesman. And people are flocking to be interested in his project because he says it's going to be long lasting, change lives forever, present a passive income opportunity better than Watermine. He has no experience in financial services. None whatsoever. He's an entrepreneur. He's a car salesman. Please, please, please be careful about what you're watching here on YouTube and what you act upon here on YouTube. Please. I'm a qualified individual. I'm a qualified financial advisor. I'm a qualified mortgage advisor. I worked in financial services for 16 years. I spent 8 years of those in wealth management, dealing in the investment world, dealing in the financial advice world. I have a background in this. I use my experience on my channel to help people. Maybe I should skim about this a little bit more, but I don't feel it's needed. I don't feel I need to. But please be careful what you pay attention to and what you action from YouTube, please. And I've said this before and I'll say this again. Don't listen to me exclusively. Get a number of voices, but ultimately you need to understand that you are taking the risk. And you know, these people feel as though saying only invest the amount that you're comfortable losing, they feel as though that absolves them of any responsibility. I mean, the cheek of these people. The cheek of these people who have promoted this, now trying to pivot and U-turn and say, I don't understand why people are now looking at this kind of stuff. It's clearly a scam. You made money off this. You made money off this. You wrote people into this. You lost people money. If we were living in a just society, there would be legal and criminal ramifications for this. But we're in a space at the moment where this gig right here on social media, talking about money, talking about investments, is not regulated. I, for one, cannot wait for the day when it is regulated, because maybe it will siphon out a lot of the nonsense that we're finding on YouTube and social media. And honestly, guys, I have to question whether I'm part of the problem. And it worries me. It really, really does. Because for all the good and all the common sense stuff that we talk, just watch the view count of this video. Because it's not buzzword, because it's not selling the social media narrative of success, passive income, digital nomad. Watch the view count. It's a damn shame. But guys, there it is. If you're not listening to the podcast, definitely go check it out. Remember, money is a tool, life is for living. You need to keep your wits about you. Please be safe. That's what this is all about at the end of the day. I will catch you midweek.